CIS mixed team in the sense that they eliminated Russia back in the round of 12. They dispatched of the second Polish team here at the event with a 2-0 over AGO, and now they'll have to fight versus Ukraine. Not an easy feat, some would say, considering the lineup that they have.
Yeah, of course, legends on the team, but that being said, fnatic have a similar story. Flusher, JW, Brolin, Golden, Electro. Some old names, some new names, but all across the board impressive. Brolin's been good this event as well. That's something I'd like to take into account. Standing in, we've seen a lot of stand-ins for this event. Again, it's a regional event, which does affect some teams. Not fnatic. Crimson just stepped down temporarily. And Ukraine, obviously, as you say yourself, Connor, legends. Now, I don't think I need to give them an introduction. You know who every single one of those players are, and they have some serious firepower.
Of course, Markelov having been the replacement of Angel, who played the online segment of the qualifier. And then, of course, once they arrived to this stage, it was Markelov to take his place. Has still had some highlight moments even of himself this weekend, so certainly no easy task, even despite that last change. But maps, well, we're starting on overpass, I can tell you that much. Yeah, here's how it all boiled down. Bans, obviously, to kick things off.
I imagine Cash is going to be one of those insta-bans again for Ukraine, as it has been this entire event. Again, Na'Vi players, don't touch that map. Hopefully we'll get that on the screen for you guys. There we go, straight up. Ban of Cash instantly. Nuke gone for fnatic, no surprises there. Obviously overpass being the first pick. As you can see on your screens right now, knife round going underway will be Ukraine's. Second map pick going to be Mirage. And so that will be coming in for Team fnatic. I don't think that's a big surprise. We're ending up on a very similar map pool to the previous. Ooh, can we see Inferno as a third again, Connor? Will it happen?
More often than not, I would argue, yes. Yeah. It's like the go-to decider map, I feel.
And again, when you have like Cobble and Train left, what would you rather, Cobble, Train, or Inferno? A map that you can not pug, but it's definitely better for a mix than the other two, right? Train's going to be a little more difficult, as is Cobble to run, especially on that CT side. So Inferno, good middle ground for both teams, and that'll be our final map. So good map pool again. We see some more of Mirage, as the Swedes always do pick Godsent in the previous best of three, fnatic in this current best of three. And we'll definitely see the first two, but will we see the third, Connor? How many maps do you think this will go?
Well, we did see, of course, the rock-solid CT side of Team Ukraine here on Overpass just yesterday versus Wololos.
Yeah.
Wololos, after this event, now infamous for Overpass comebacks, having done it versus Space Soldiers, Big, and then Ukraine. So, yes, they have a loss on this map after holding a 14-2 lead over top of the Spaniards. But it is not the Spanish on the other side. It is rather the Swedish this time. Of course, they will begin on the same sides as last. Golden holding on to the flash and smoke, as of course fnatic crossed towards playground early on. Early contact spotted by Markelov. He just wanted information, and he gets a bit of damage at the same time. Edward, who so incredibly well played this forward bathrooms position throughout the entirety of their defense. It was Bondic down on the B site that was putting up numbers yesterday. But it is Lekro with an opening kill here in this pistol. Now, Edwards still not seen, but finally comes out of his cubby. He will catch one kill before dropping to the Glock of Golden. And with a 4 versus 2, there is a golden opportunity for fnatic to hit this A site. But Zeus, oh, he looks to rob them. He sees 3 players lining up. He can't hit those initial shots. They jump up and down, and so Bondic has to clutch. 1v2 now, and it's just not meant to be. fnatic finding pistol.
Mowed down through smoke as well. Good start for fnatic, but a lot of missed opportunities for Team Ukraine. They had good positions. Edward was just overrun by Lekro. Simple as well, caught out in the open, and even Edward, and even Markelov close couldn't get anything done. Great round from fnatic to kick things off, but a lot of missed opportunity, I've got to say, from Team Ukraine. Doesn't matter. Force comes in anyway. We've got rifles up for fnatic. Good utility as well on the map of Overpass. That's going to be necessity. Heavy down towards B this time. Ukraine don't set up for that fast control towards toilets. In fact, there's no one there. Just Edward on along with the Deagle, and he is going to be challenged. 3 players rushing on up. He doesn't peek aggressively. They might expect this position to be clear, but they'll certainly check it. Definitely now with him firing off shots, and he doesn't land a single one. Electro takes the first. More Simple will get aggressive in the connector to find himself a kill as well. It's a 4-on-4. fnatic now slowed down after that first pick, but looking to find a second, and they do. Zeus over-facing towards short, and while he gets damage done, JW stays alive, and fnatic continue to hit the A site.
Markelov getting up from bank, spots the back of Brolin. Now, Brolin got ambitious there. He wanted to create some further space to ensure the bomb plant, but now Golden's just going to have to hope they don't spam him, which they do. down to the 3v1 as JW is all that's left. He was sitting in the back lines, and now he dies. It's Team Ukraine with a force buy straight back in the face of fnatic. What an explosive way to kick off this CT side. Sure enough, they lose that pistol, but my goodness. Again, smoke grenades down could have ensured the bomb plant, but Brolin, he wanted to go further than that. Had those smokes not been there, you almost think to yourself, well, the guns at a distance take the duels. But Brolin pushes through because he wants to make safety found. And instead, all of those fnatic players cleaned up. So Team Ukraine, they've got themselves a fantastic buy in this one. They've got themselves 2 rifles, actually, because there was double AKs, Hugo, for them to retrieve.
And the Khalil.
Some freebies for their efforts.
Money kept strong for now. Quite the opposite situation for fnatic. We have the flashbang on JW. That's the only set of utility to burst him into a bomb site. I'm expecting B. Far easier to just flash yourself into than A, because again, you can have deep long control, you can have toilets control. It's so hard to clear out all of that before you get to the site, whereas B's a little more standard. You typically just have players playing from the site and no short control, or while it is occasionally taken, it's far easier to hold as a T side as you have the faster spawn to that position. Same situation with Monster. fnatic are slow, holding a default across all areas of the map. Bomb still towards the T-spawn, finally making its way out on the back of Golden. As fnatic look to take a play up towards the toilets, it's just flusha holding for rotations, could eventually come back up through the connector as well. 40 seconds left. fnatic looking to make the play. Molotov down from Ukraine will delay them just for a few more. 7 seconds on that fire as Edward, he checks up towards long as well. And we've got a third rotation in. We've got Zeus moving up the stairs as well. So now Ukraine, they're going to be set up perfectly for this defense on the A bomb site. With nothing spotted towards long, they may reconsider dropping Zeus back down. And in fact, they do. But that's going to be wrong. It's fnatic, they are hitting.
Flashbang obscures the vision of JW. Edward will go for the push, so long control belongs to the CT side, but Brolin and Lekro swing it back, and out of nowhere, we've got fnatic with a bomb plant and a Galil here in the hands of Brolin. AK for flusha. After plant positions for fnatic are good, but flusha's gone right now, so the players on site, they have no support, and Markelov trades straight back. It's 1 versus 1. Legends of the game still stand. No smoke to cover the bomb. flusha with a knife out's just going to go for the jiggle peek, but Markelov does have the kit and spots the player. We'll get back on it, but his hand's forced off. flusha with some damage. Markelov needs to reload. This isn't looking good, so instead he's going to force the fight. He comes in quickly, and flusha just as fast will find the round straight back for fnatic. Team Ukraine with a force buy. Hello. Goodbye. And Team fnatic with another.
Very nice. Good stuff by fnatic, but again, of course, Ukraine falls in this situation, right? Not only is the economy yet to be established, especially when it comes down to a 1v1, but Ukraine have the money for a rifle and an SMG, 3 pistols alongside that. And fnatic, 4 AKs, or 4 rifles in, one of them Galil. Fast up towards A again. We've got Edward close with that UMP. Not going to challenge. The Famas and the team back down towards a B-bomb site, and Ukraine not with a lot of presence outside of this A position. Zeus has got to be careful. He's only got a CZ. Peeks out wide. Simple, in the meantime, starts things off with a deagle up on long. He'll take down Lekro. So first pick going the way of Ukraine. Could we see counter forces for the 3rd round in a row? Very possibly. As fnatic, they slow down the pace after losing that first man, but look to trade it onto Edward, who's still stuck aggressive in the toilets. It's JW to wrap through the Molotov. He goes in fast. Edward's there. And he'll spot him at least, but won't get damage off. Ukraine at least conceded control towards the connector with that pick. As Ukraine have sent back Zeus towards the B-bomb site. He can wrap up towards A if needed as well. But he's currently just boosting. Bondic over the top so he can spot short, as fnatic just methodically clearing out this map, trying to get closer towards that A site. That's a final destination for them at the very least. With Simple sitting on the site and Edward sitting close to the toilets, they will have some form of defense, but not the best. First shot missed from Simple, and JW, he's going to open it up again, trading it back, so it's a 4-on-4, but look at the time left, 30 seconds. fnatic have to make a play, and Markov's the only man left standing, fully blind, but they don't spot him just yet. Golden, very close, but look at the rotations. There's so many players in the site for Ukraine.
Flusha able to clear out the bathroom, so the teas will continue on, but Markelov again buying time. Zeus's rotation was cut, but Bondik, he cuts them down with 2 frags now. Flusha, 10 seconds, has to clutch again. Same situation, same winner. Flusha with a last kill, just with barely time left over, keeps it in the bag for Fnatic. We will not see the Force Wars. Instead, we will watch Ukraine fall back a second time in a row. Fnatic have done it. And now they will use this opportunity to cultivate economy. We've got 2 MAC-10s and an ump in place, still the double rifles.
The force again from Ukraine is so interesting to see. Again,
Oh my god, you're right.
Damage was done onto Fnatic, right? They pulled them down to a 1v1. But Ukraine did this so much yesterday as well, if I remember correctly. Lots of forces. In fact, it was overpass in which they forced twice in a row after losing pistol and actually won it on the second attempt due to the other team unsuspecting. Actually, it might have been Inferno, but it was 4 MAC-10s on the buy, I remember.
Yep, it was Inferno. You're absolutely right.
And they completely misread the force from Ukraine. Of course, why wouldn't they expect deco? 2 rounds after a pistol, you should just be going for that plain flat eco, but no, Ukraine throwing another curveball. However, with slow presence and smokes down for Ukraine, Fnatic may expect this, especially if they watch that previous game. And Edward already dead, so JW has some knowledge of the buy, but maybe not of the stack. 4 players close and Golden not watching it. He's watching his back and he's going to walk in. 2 kills, massive as well. No head armor on those players, but there will be on the last 2, and they pull it back with a kill of their own. But only MAC-10's grabbed. Fnatic have the A site.
JW is going to ensure that he pushes downwards as well. That's certainly going to give them the after plant they'd hope for. And then some, but of course with the force buy in that last round, or this most recent one as well, Team Ukraine not really leaving themselves with much room in the next. So these 2 MAC-10s and Kevlar could actually come into fruition, maybe throw them down into connector, try and clash just next to party. I love seeing players actually stack just on the edge of the party wall, waiting for tees to come up through playground. It's a good way to close the distance, right? Hell, even just go for the 5-man B stack. Astrala's style. But this round, of course, not going the way of Ukraine. They had hoped that maybe Fnatic would write off their opponents, that they would charge forward and just offer themselves alive. Not what unfolds here. Of course, Edward as well was caught up towards that A site, so maybe had Edward been able to stay standing a little longer, they would have actually convinced Fnatic back towards B. However, not the case. So, what?
No, this is fine.
All right, yeah, round loss bonus at this point. Sure enough.
The thing is, they're losing so many rounds in a row now that they can afford to actually put money into this because they'll have almost max cash coming in next. So it does make some sense to put armor and CZs into this round, knowing they'll have 2,900 next. So they'll be able to buy up fully and still have another shot at this. That being said, Fnatic have to be very careful up against these SMGs. They can still be lethal. So with a B setup and 3 players in place, Markelov is there, so is Brolin. 2 for him. Swaps out to the AK, but he's fully blind, just escapes with his life. As Bondik looks to chase his kill, he doesn't expect the upper angle, and he goes down too. Simple alone. A 1v4, and damage done onto Fnatic, but barely. JW Brolin tagged, Golden dead, that's it. So Ukraine's half by. It's not the end of the world that they lose it, but again, it's more money invested that finds really no effect. So Fnatic, they've been pretty much gifted these early advantages due to them actually being able to clutch out these 1v1s, or due to Flusha being able to clutch out these 1v1s. The fact that he's done this twice now has actually put Fnatic in such a good spot, because now they're going to be 5-1 up before we even see full rifles and an AWP on Ukraine's side. That's crazy. 5-1 up before we have a buy v buy. Very rare you see that. It's been half buys and force buys all the way for Ukraine, but things are now going to change. Again, we're only in the first map.
But as you alluded to, we did watch this yesterday with Inferno in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And yet that time around, once Ukraine were able to stabilize economically, right? Once they finally swallowed their egos and accepted the fate of their decisions, they did still come back with the map win. So it's not too far gone by no mean whatsoever. But what scares me as well is that Fnatic have had an individual level that can contest that of Ukraine.
Yeah. Versus, you know, Fnatic v Wololos, I know who I put my money on there.
Yeah.
So Ukraine, the fact they are pulled to 3 maps by Wololos and on this exact map lost a 14-2 lead. That just shows they've got to be a little bit worried, and especially kind of we go back to the point we made earlier. It was Ukraine's CT side that was strong on this map. And now look, 5-1 up. Even if it is still good, they've lost their early opportunities as now they only start to buy up rifles. They will have that AWP at least possible, and yep, Simple goes for it. Will we have one or will we have two? That's the question I'm waiting to see. One. And none for fnatic.
Okay. Okay. I see you, fnatic, playing with those AKs. What do they decide to do with it? There's that wall to play on. Party trying to curb the enthusiasm, and they do. 2 quick kills coming in from the CTs. Make it a third. Zeus chiming in with his own. So the 3 players from Ukraine that stack up that forward A site all come up with a kill. What a very successful way to now detour fnatic towards the B site. Grenade from Bondik. Significant damage. Nearly 100 done between the 2 players. Bondik's still lingering inside of the water, of course. While Flusha clears up the graffiti, it's Golden to find the plant. So fnatic accepting their fate here will find themselves some extra cash, a little injection towards their coffers. But it is Ukraine with 4 alive at the end, which is crucial, right? If they're going to stabilize, if they're going to come back after losing these earlier bouts, it is in this kind of a fashion that they'll do so. 2 AKs retrieved, fnatic back in with a buy, but they don't really have enough money to do this for too long. They're certainly going to want to win in this one. And that'd be a great way to reset Ukraine, who, again, will have money of their own, but not the best of buys. If economic struggles was the way you got a 5-1 lead, then use that very same strat to shoot towards 8-2.
Let's see. As fnatic back on guns temporarily, potentially, as they set up fast towards B water. Ukraine still with a triple stack on that B bomb site, and aggressive positioning again up towards A. It's Simple and Edward, the duo that always challenges his party position when Ukraine play overpass. I mean, there's a reason they picked it. But this time they fall back very early on as well. Maybe a bait and switch setup on long, but in fact, look at this. A rotation from Simple down towards B. Currently, Ukraine are now running a 4-man B setup so early on into the round before they've seen a thing. And Edwards alone up towards long. The fact that he's so deep as well means that fnatic, realistically, you could just walk up short and have the A bomb site. Yes, I mean, Ukraine would be fine in a 5-on-5 setup on the retake, but they don't really want to be in that position. Luckily enough, fnatic don't have the knowledge just yet, and they are still heavy outside of B for the time being, so Ukraine don't have to worry too much about this possibility. And that's the thing. In a pro game, even if you go for these risky setups, you can run it for 30 seconds or so. fnatic aren't definitely going to just run up short the second you draw a player away. They don't know what you're running, and Bondik, actually, he's going to start things off on B. The boost works. Him and Zeus take down Letgrow. So now fnatic, last-ditch attempt, 34 seconds left. Utility into this A-bomb site. Simple's rotated back up. Edward's still coming in from behind on toilets. Watch out for him. As the smokes rain over, Simple's going to start.
Gets himself that first one. Again, time is the issue. Edward gunning down Flusha as well. This really puts fnatic into desperation. They will cross towards the site, and Simple stops it yet once more. Golden, with 10 seconds left over, walks into his death, and that's Ukraine to convert with, again, 4 players alive. A fantastic spot to find themselves in. And a pause called by Edward. So pistol and back-to-back resets is the way we kick this off. 4 spies affords fnatic, then 4 rounds in a row. And now it is Simple and Bondik really coming to life here, taking control for Team Ukraine. Now, yesterday we watched on Overpass, Bondik towards the B site, statistically ahead. Edward over on A doing the exact same, and then Simple in the middle ground being that rotator on the op. We'd see him inside connector, we'd see him bolster B, and we'd see him as well help out Edward when needed. So kind of par for the course, except for that Edward really hasn't been all too contested, or when they do head out towards the A site, it's everybody chiming in with kills. And that's what we expect from Ukraine, right? Yeah. Individual level on this team is just so incredibly high. Even Bondik, right? Like, on teams that he's played on, he's always kind of been that hard carry. I remember a time with Flipside, he was always the man to go big on kills. Bringing him into Tai Lu is certainly a great opportunity for him to help carry.
And even yesterday, he was performing very, very well. He was top of the board for some of the maps as well. I remember mentioning, this is not the player you look to be the carry on this team at the very least with the likes of the roster that we have ahead of us. But he's certainly stepping up to the hypothetical plate. And he is this map too. Simple back on the AWP. And fnatic back on pistols. That 5-1 lead has faded away. And we're imagining to see 4 here from Ukraine. So looking to try and bring it back in their favor very, very soon. Good start from Zeus. Nade in, forces Brolin forward and into the waiting arm. So a pick now going the way of Ukraine. And fnatic still passive outside of this A-bomb site. They're only just taking connect control. Ukraine just hold fast and simple. Got to be careful. They're close. There's a lot of pistols here. He's going to have to hit some crazy shots, and he doesn't. JW's there with a P250, and Zeus, luckily enough, there to retrieve it with 2 kills of his own. But Golden trying to get rid of the AWP potentially, running up with a pistol, also dropping Zeus, but he's going to get flanked. And that AWP is saved at the very least. So Ukraine, they lose 2, but they get away with a round. 4-5. Now fnatic back on the bye.
It's at this point that either Ukraine tie things up and really start to cement a CT side, and we kind of chalk up this 5 rounds from fnatic to, again, having gun advantage. Or it's at this point that fnatic get themselves back into the driver's seat with a 2-point lead and start chipping away at that economy from Ukraine, because they've certainly been able to capture the cash. Flash versus Simple convinces him back from party. No initial duel being found here as JW will boost up and look for these kinds of aggressions, right? We remember the last gun round where Team Ukraine go for 3 players aggressively up on long A. Well, JW tries to get ahead of it. He predicts exactly that. And in this case, it's not going to be what Ukraine use on this bomb site. They will place Edward inside bathrooms and have Simple prying over his shoulder, leaving mid for the taking, really, especially connector stairs. But watch Markelov as he starts pushing in through the tunnels. It's him and Bondik that are going to split onto Monster. Could have found Flusha, but instead he falls back. And now the T's know. Ukraine, they're getting curious.
Okay, Curiosity killed the cat. It'll certainly kill Bondik. He's dead. Markelov is there to trade, but still a 4v4 just means fnatic are going to start to burst this A side of the map. Spot on JW. Edward finds it, but he's going to run back in through the smoke exactly where Letcro sits and exactly where Simple watches with the AWP. Kill from him too. And maybe we are going to be going back to Ukraine taking the lead, Connor. Maybe it's not fnatic restabilizing. Now they've got guns back in their hands as well. As Brolin, he's the last man up. A 1v4 is ahead of him if he wants to pick this back in the favor of fnatic and continue with this lead. Otherwise it's a draw for the time being. 25 seconds. He runs on back into the site. 1 player in the pit. This plant will surely force Markelov forward. And while it will come through, Markelov is going to be there quickly in time. Cleans it up. Ukraine on the board with 4, now make it 5. Scoreline equaled.
This round, or map rather, just draws so many similarities to me to, again, Inferno, right? Yesterday versus Wololos.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter being, of course, that Team Ukraine, they almost accepted their fate by trying to gamble on those force buys. They realized, all right, even if this doesn't work and we are down 5-1, it is no issue because we have a 15-round half to play with. And in the first 10 rounds, they've now equalized that score. So early advantage stripped away. And weapon advantage as well. It is going to be the Kevlar sidearms of fnatic with, sure enough, some utility, but not really anything to get too worked up about. Lekro's going to go charging past the bathrooms. He will find a lot of footing, actually, towards that A site, but Edward is behind him. And funny enough, Lekro then goes inside of the bathrooms. Edward's kind of pulled in 2 directions, and it's in that moment that he dies. But Markelov will curb the success here of fnatic. Looking ecstatic as they get some footing towards that B site. Off of the flash, they'll push, and they take Bondik. He's just standing up in the heavens. Now the single M4 of Brolin is already hit up to 33 HP and pushed towards Graffiti next to the smoke. Markelov's on the other side here. And as he spams it, he gives himself away. Of course, the man above now spotted that Simple on an op. Tag to 22. Hugo, they could seriously do this because Golden finds the kill. And now Markelov to clutch yet again.
Oh, double peek coming through though, and that'll be enough. Brolin finds it. And fnatic, they're back on the board with another round. We said this was going to be Ukraine taking the lead after that full buy going the way of them and forcing fnatic down to pistols, but it's certainly not. 5-6 now. And fnatic keep this one close. After a streak of 4 from Ukraine, fnatic are back on the board. But again, they've got to worry, Connor, because there's a reset looming over their heads. Good rounds from Ukraine, kept players alive. They've got money to buy, and they've got the AWP, and even cash level back on. This will be 2 buys in a row from Ukraine, for sure. There's no way they can't afford next round, no matter the outcome of this. Either they're at 1900 loss bonus, which is good enough, or they win the round and they buy. Though, maybe it's going to be the first, because Letcro's already kicked it off on B. Quick kill onto Markelov, taking that peak. Down Monster. While damage will be traded back and forth, it will favour fnatic for now. They'll slow it down and fall back. So Wallbang won't connect for Zeus. fnatic hold fast and take connector as well. But they've got to regain so much control towards these areas of the map. While Ukraine have pushed up, because fnatic went so heavy in towards B earlier on, they therefore have to essentially retake the playground area, the party area, long. Make sure Ukraine haven't got into the back lines. So that will wheel a lot of time away from fnatic as they start to redo that. Golden pushing up alone, connector being cleared by 2 more as well. And Ukraine, they've taken control of B short, at least for the time being, as they look for the trade. But with the smoke down, there's nothing coming through but wallbangs. And slight damage onto JW as well. Slow for fnatic, but they rotate players back down B. It looks like they want to commit with the original plan, which was the B rush that they halted after Markelov spotted 4 players. Now they're ready to commit.
Bondik's getting curious over towards Monster. He doesn't see anybody there, so maybe false confidence that there is no presence nearby. Of course, Zeus going to be making first contact as Bondik dies. Zeus takes his place over towards Monster, but he was spotted, so Brolin gives chase, gets himself the headshot, and a 5 versus 2 for fnatic to work with. 20 seconds as they get the plant in. While Simple deals damage, he then repeaks to his death, and Edwards still at A. Near flawless round from fnatic. It looked in question for a moment there as they had positioning inside of connector. They weren't really sure where they wanted to head, and it could have been anyone's round. But my goodness. Unfortunately, Bondik, he pushes through Monster. Gets stopped on the other side. Zeus thinking, of course, that he might catch them off guard, when in reality, his back was spotted as he tried to change position. So Brolin just chases. Easy cleanup. Easy B site, Hugo, and all of a sudden a 2-point lead for the Swedes. As Ukraine will hold on to the single M4 and try to get the money back beneath them. But the money right now is definitely on the T side.
Yeah, and again, the game plan for fnatic was perfectly fine, right? They wanted to go for a bit of a speedy B. They find the pick onto Markelov, and instead of just bursting the site, they knew Ukraine have money. And knowing Molotovs could come down straight after that pick, instead of committing to B, they actually wrap back towards A. That allows Ukraine to settle into a 2-2 setup, meaning B side is just so much weaker on the defense. Good read by fnatic. Instead of just committing off the back of the pick, they slow it down. They still commit towards B after Ukraine have settled back into a setup that favors the T side. Now they're going to be in the favor. But as we said, buy back up for Ukraine. They had cash left to spare, and a triple boost up. They can spot into long from this. I like this as well. On top of Bondik's head goes another player, and they get so much information from this. It's on top of Bondik where he can spot players, but he sees nothing but death. Flusher runs in, and Brolin off the back of that pick, he charges as well, but there's still 2 players in the site, and a third one almost in contention. Zeus dead. Simple here with the AWP, misses a shot, and Brolin, he's blind, but it doesn't even matter. Markelov's now alone. He has to do this all by himself. As he waits a long route for Edward to come in through the toilets, it's not enough. Markelov's dead, and Edward probably looking to save. It's fnatic. 7 rounds made 8 with 4 men stood standing. What a play onto B.
Another one of those instances where it comes into like the mid-round B hit, as seen in the previous round. And yet again, Edwards still over towards that A site. He never really got footing towards B. Didn't get that rotation down connector. Didn't really get himself much to work with. So he'll have to hope that his M4 finds impact in the next round, which will be the 14th in this half. I thought Ukraine were certainly going to start to stabilize. They did stabilize initially from, of course, those force buys, but now we're seeing a whole different fnatic. No longer are they trying to charge up from playground. They are focusing their attention on B, and that in and of itself has gotten them some rounds.
And one of the reasons there is, now that 2 rounds in a row we've seen Edward save, right? It's because fnatic know if they fast hit B, they're essentially in a 4v5 for the round. If they take B, Edward does not have time to rotate from his long position. Whereas if they hit A, because it takes so much time to work your way through the toilets, up short, up to A, by the time you've got those picks onto the aggressive CT players, you already have the B rotators off that site and into A. You're always going to be playing that 5v5, and it's far more common that Ukraine will be going for that retake. Whereas Edward's never going going to attempt it because he has such a long route back in, and by that point his entire team's dead. So fnatic opting for the 4-on-5 essentially on that B bomb site. Every single round it's working, but of course they've got to switch it up eventually. And now is the time as Ukraine are back on pistols. With the one saved rifle, Edward has to go big, and he's certainly going to be set up to do so. With Brolin with a flash in his hand, he's not ready for the peak, and Edward finds it. Lekro's still here, got to watch his backside, but also got to watch his front as he does, taking down Simple. Bondic's still in position, and the spray won't connect. He's still alive and kicking. Well, Edward's been traded. At least one kill's coming for Ukraine, but it's not enough if they want to pick up this pistol round.
CT's really wanted those close-range engagements, and now they're going to be left inside connector on their own. Molotov seals their fate, as fnatic will cross during this time. But still slow here. Golden hesitant as he checks the corners, and that's going to give a chance for Zeus to peek out, but then Golden whips back round and slays the two remaining Ukrainian players. 5-9.
Again, right, we looked at this at 5-1 up. We said, okay, this could just be off the back of the force buys not working out for Ukraine, fnatic having the gun advantage. Let's wait for Ukraine to settle, and as soon as Ukraine get rifles in their hands, they have a nice streak. They bring it up to 5-5. They get, very, very close. And then fnatic, after their own economy troubles, they're back on the buy, and we've had 3 buys for Ukraine out of the last 4 rounds. None of them have been successful, and it's been fnatic all across the board, looking to find double digits in the first half of overpass. And look at this from Brolin, I like it. Reactive just on his own, running out onto B. It might not work out, but with flusha dead, someone's forced to make a play on fnatic. Someone needs to find himself a pick, and Brolin's made it very clear he's here, but look at the rotation that's come down. fnatic should hit A right now, because they've drawn every player down towards the B side. There's no one left on that top side of the map. Edward is even close for the rotation. Markov, he may catch Brolin. Ammo wasted. Zeus comes in for support, and he finds a kill, but fnatic are up at A.
Edward's still on this bomb site. He hasn't seen much action. This time he will take a head, but he's burning alive to 29, and Golden stops him then. 3 CTs, and 2 of which are going to be trying to commit to that dumpster boost. About to go over top. Golden tagged up. Oh, Lekro hits the top of the totem pole. Bondic gets removed, but now Markelov in from bank. Will he be able to find another? Lekro still resides behind the dice box. He's waiting for Zeus to step in, and an instant headshot. Nice kill. And now it's on to Markelov in a clutch. Lekro not able to do what flusha could, and Markelov will win this one. 2 frags in the round, both of which in the retake attempt. 10-second defuse and a 6 to the board. Team Ukraine putting up some kind of a fight, but remember how weak their T side was versus the Spaniards.
That being said, we didn't really get to see a whole lot of it off the back of Wololos being so strong, and I wouldn't necessarily say that Ukraine's is just weak. I just think Wololos's CT is nuts, because they proved it versus Big, they proved it versus Space Soldiers, and they proved it versus Ukraine. So is it Ukraine having a weak T side versus your average team, or is it Wololos just having an exceptional CT side?
It's a good point, Hugo. It is a good point. And you know what the solution will be? To stay tuned and watch these next 15 rounds.
Good decision.
I mean, you have to.
And you.
That's true.
I want to, though.
As do I. I'm excited to see if Ukraine can bring this one back. They'll have a pistol to kick this off with. And in said pistol, they will have a smoke and flashbang for Markelov. Loves a couple nades, he does.
No way. Fast up for Ukraine. fnatic with presence down B, but a pre-rotation already coming in. Golden's moved back towards the A side of the map. With a kit to pick up, he's got to watch out. And Ukraine falling back towards this B-bomb site. But look at the setup from JW. They're going to walk out down B, and that's exactly where flusha is as well. So JW and flusha in aggressive positions. It could work out. flusha gets info, but he spots 4 players, so he's going to bail. As he falls back towards the site, JW does as well, gives up short control, but it's no pick from Simple. I was surprised he didn't go for that frag, tried to chase down these players exiting short. Instead, it's Lekro on B and JW both picking up kills, or 1 each. Edward quick with the trade, but now flusha's left in the site as he looks for more. Simple finally making his way up through short, but it's not Simple to strike, it's Edward. As Simple dies, it's now just 1 left, the man himself. Edward on 4, looking for the ace, and flusha trying to clean it up for the CT side. He'll wrap back towards Heaven as Edward gets aggressive. But he doesn't know he's going up. He realizes due to the lack of peak, he imagines he's up top, so he fakes the bomb, goes for the fight, and he lands the damage, but not the kill. He does finally. And Edward takes the ace for Ukraine. drags them through, and up to 7 they go.
People talk about Dennis, but Edward's pistols are just as good. So sick.
Bold claim to make.
No, I'm going to say it.
Okay. I like the commitment.
I feel like if there is a Swedish pistol player, it's got to be Dennis.
What do you mean he's Danish? He plays for Astralis.
You're a funny man.
Thank you.
Said no one ever.
Oh.
Team Ukraine, however, use Edward when it comes to pistols. Lights out performance there. The ace. Okay, maybe not as good.
Oh,
But
he's
still
backing
fantastic.
off. He's backing off already.
You know who should back off?
Oh, me?
No, Fnatic from Long. Don't doubt yourself, Hugo. Because Golden right now, obviously, he's committed. He's going to be sitting behind that rock. Sure enough, he's got the cover of the scout. But that's the game plan, right? Scout at a distance, pistol up close. It's not even going to be tested at this point. Terrorists circumvent the threat. For now, but Golden, he's getting curious. And if he were to overstep that edge, he's walking right into Edward. No longer on a pistol, but a Kalashnikov.
Oh, that timing is the worst in the game.
And the bomb carrier.
More players are coming up, though. There is Markelov looking to trade. Golden gets a Molotov out eventually, but he's got to watch his back as well because Zeus is coming in from behind. Mac 10 in play, though, so dangerous as he wraps Long. He doesn't come through short. I like this from Zeus. It's clever. No way Golden would expect Long. Why would he expect Long? If short's not the area that Zeus comes from, where is he? As he pushes up behind, he spots him. Damage from a range, but he's going to be able to finish off the job with a second spray. Simple sneaking into B in the meantime, and he catches a kill. MP7 back in his hands, and he makes it work. 2 frags. Antico looking very good for Ukraine. It was a great start with a deagle from Golden, but it goes no further than that after his aggressive position. Ukraine spend a lot of time trying to work out where he is. And it works out just in time as they get the bomb down on B. Brolin. Damage. But that'll be it.
Honestly, both these players are going to have to leave that bomb site. Simple can't even fall back, so if Brolin's safe enough, he could actually find himself another. But no, Hugo. It is denied. Team Ukraine's still moving 4 players into the next round. They're starting to build some economy. And this is going to be the real round to make some cash.
And hopefully the round that Fnatic don't force as well.
Yeah.
Ukraine love themselves a force. But for now, they will stick with SMGs. Good decision. Simple really has been using this MP7 crazy amounts. He's a big fan, as Fnatic are, of the full eco, full pistols coming in, all USPs, and quick up towards A for Zeus as Connector is taken control of by Markelov. Going to try and run up the stairs as JW on the corner. He spots him, his teammate almost blocks, but it doesn't matter because Edward actually grabs a kill instead. Flush up. Backing off of the toilets, falls back near Long, but Edward needs to clear the corner. He does. Underwhelming fights for Fnatic, but you can only expect it with the weaponry they have or lack of. As Ukraine walk back up towards A, they look to make presence. Fnatic holding fairly passive and doesn't even matter. One kill is all they will find. I imagine that will be the round. So Ukraine taking it to 9-9 at the end of the day. Money made as well. Edward finds 3 himself with the Mac 10. And Ukraine, they could do this.
They keep the SMGs. It's an Mac 10 and MP7, right? They have all the cash in the world, and you have to consider your options. Do you invest it here and now, ensuring that you're firing on all cylinders? Ooh, all right. They keep all 3 SMGs, but they actually buy an op. They place their investments elsewhere. JW inside of Connector on the shotgun. That's going to be a close quarters combat. Tries to look away from the flash. Instead, he completely eats it. Blinded fully as Markelov will then spray him down. So Team Ukraine now with a little bit more footing. Trying to get around these guns of Fnatic. What's scary as well is that Simple is yet to even really find contact on that op. He was worried about long, but now he can post up cover over the shoulder of Edward. That allows for the SMG to push forward. It allows for the map control to be obtained. Smoke grenade gives Flusha away. Markelov tries to spam it. That, of course, does not work out. Not yet. Because Flusha, sure enough, does linger. And Golden, he stops the man at B. So the T's about to push. Flusha flicks upwards. What a shot. Markelov just on the other side. The next man to fall. Flusha doing it all. But right now, it's Zeus and Simple left over. 2v3, getting closer to that A bomb site, and now only the Opper. He's nowhere to be found, and so he'll try his hand at hitting this B site. But first, he needs to get past Lekro.
Well, that happens. First kill. 30 seconds left on the clock. Simple. He's got the B site, at least bomb partner can come through. Golden, aggressive, he runs through the Molotov. He doesn't even wait for his teammate. Simple won't expect this. He's very, very close now. You can see he's double scoped up because he doesn't know there's a player in the pit. We're going to finally one zoom, but here's where he gets peeked or not. He's allowed to wrap. However, Golden doesn't know. He still thinks he's on the pillar on the site, but instead he comes all the way round. And to the right, Brawler needs to look as he comes up through short. Simple. He's done this. He's found himself so much time. They need to jump on the bomb, and they don't have the kit for it. Simple 2 kills and 3 in the round for the clutch. Ukraine find themselves another one on the board. What a round to throw away if you're Fnatic. Everything going for them, but timing gets the better. Works out for Simple, and he holds Ukraine strong. This could have been Fnatic's chance to close out the map. But Ukraine and Simple specifically keep on going.
And look at him go. 1 versus 3. Should have never gotten past Lekro, but he does. And then with some fantastic positioning and wrapping around from both Monster and Short, he isolates those gunfights. They were so certain he was behind the pillar because, of course, they push up early. So he saw that nobody crossed back towards Short. He had to have gone that way. Markelov able to open up this round, as it will be the Fnatic side on pistols yet again. They do have a flashbang, so maybe if the fight gets frantic, they can play off of that. It's on Brolin, of course, down towards Short. It's Edward over on long to clean up the first. Zeus will trade, but at least some losses here for Ukraine.
Yeah, and again, if Fnatic took Ukraine's map pick, they'd be set up perfectly for the second, but now with Ukraine leading, up to 11 before Fnatic even take guns back into their own hands. Realistically, we could see Ukraine run away with this game. T-side starting to be dangerous. Haven't dropped around just yet. They're 4 in. Going to make it 5. But still, I want to see a couple more buys from Fnatic before I'm convinced. As you mentioned, Connor, they had a weak side versus Wololos, and we don't know just yet if that was at the back of Ukraine being weak or Wololos being far too strong as they were versus everyone. But Ukraine, they've filtered out into B. There's no one there for Fnatic. They will have heard these flashes, but it's more so if they want to go for it, or do they want to hold on to their armor? Do they want to take guns away from Ukraine, or is it not worth the risk? Lekro certainly thinks it is as he pushes up towards short, but his teammates already run for the hills. Brolin maybe hunting a gun, maybe looking to save. Edward's dead, but it was only an MP7. They've already thrown it out of the map as well. Zeus did that earlier, so he can't find a thing. That's why he's not got a gun to play with. Clever from Zeus. I think if we look at Brolin, he would have just spotted out the corner of the map, over the fence. You can throw that gun, and they certainly have. So no MP7 for him today. It's just going to be the round going to Ukraine. And buy soon for Fnatic.
There was a couple first gun rounds for Team Fnatic actually in that first half before Ukraine got themselves standing. So maybe that happens yet again here. But I think Ukraine are really coming into their own. I mean, look at the money they've made. Zeus to reinvest for the AK, full grenades, the bells, the whistles, the bow on top. But JW's got an op. That's something to play off of. I'd love to see him maybe try to get aggressive. Aggressive JW. No scoping JW.
Shotgun AWP JW.
The good stuff. Of course, he does position back towards long, so he's not going to opt to get aggressive, rather playing patient. And already Team Ukraine, well, they're going to grab some map control. They go into short, they push 2 players down through connector, and they've left bomb and spawn, playing 1 player per extremity here. So really just feeling out fnatic on each sides of the map and allowing that core 3-man unit to do work here. Again, lots of grenades, so they don't actually have to commit off of this volley. Playing patiently and waiting for jump peaks. Again, Edward's been posted towards long this entire time, so his only real threat is if he walks around the corner. There's J-Dubs on the other side here. Zeus getting closer towards B. Does he check all the way up? Whoop. Later, Lekro. Nice try. Golden's able to trade, spots out towards short and gets dropped by Bondic. Now giving Team Ukraine a man advantage and some pressure towards the B site. You see that rotation come down. You see the push on A go forward. And that, of course, will get them the site if they were to hit it. But Flusha heads back upwards. And the bomb comes over as well. Can Flusha buy time? Can he just stop this in its tracks?
And it's only 30 seconds left as well. Time is exactly what's needed for fnatic to hold on to. But no, Edward takes the first kill, and that's the A side opened up. JW trying to rotate through the spawn, but actually he rotates back down. They look to save. They know Ukraine have the round. They're just searching for any lurking players down on B. The only lurk is Bondic towards the spawn, just away, catching connector control. There's no one flanking from fnatic. They're just holding on to guns. So 12 to the T's. They are bringing it back into contention as they take 6 flawlessly on the half. Maxed out loss for fnatic, and as a result of the maxed out loss, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bye. With 2 saved players, I could certainly make it work. The only issue is it depends where the money comes from. If JW and Brolin drop, they can't rebuy utility. Unless they have saved money, that is.
You may be a madman, Hugo, but I think you're right. It would make absolute sense in this position, especially as Ukraine have now established that 3-point lead. fnatic wants something. I'd like to actually see fnatic, again, get a little bit more aggressive. They've been allowing Ukraine to play their own map control, right? Think about how Bondic was afforded his position on short, and while Zeus gets that first peek in contact versus Lekro, it's then the 1-1 trade back and forth, leaving Ukraine with map control and the man advantage to work their way merrily towards that A-bomb site. So, just like Ukraine on Inferno yesterday versus Wololos, stop giving them space. Stop letting them play their own game and instead force your way through it. JW will get himself down towards connector. Not aggressively looking for the op shot, but still at the tip of the stairs. It's in fact towards short that the CTs push, and Golden finds an opener. That's Bondic down, cutting away 1 prong of the assault. But still 4 Ts to take, make it 3. Brolin finding another. The door swings wide. Golden stops Markelov. Simple's able to trade, and Brolin up close with a sidearm will finish his frag. 1 man up is Edward. And there we go, Hugo. Little aggressiveness. Little pizzazz.
Some jazz from fnatic in a 10th round found as a result, unless Edward has anything to say about it. He is going to be pushing up. Flush will hear these footsteps and certainly going to know he's here now. Sprays, just baits, just trying to play with his opponent. But it will force Edward back. Flush might not expect the peek. Oh, that gives it away. He spots across, he goes to the fight, and he wins it. They can't afford to lose too many guns here, and Edward's certainly making this costly. So even if he does lose a round, if he takes down more players, fnatic are going to be struggling to buy. They don't have any saved cash. JW's on the flank, but he's there. He's able to get the shot off as well. That could have been very dangerous, but they hold on to 2 AWPs, which definitely will bolster the money of fnatic somewhat. Guns can be dropped as well, so certainly going to be able to get the buy. Golden's actually got a lot of money as well, so this will be fine for fnatic. They won't have a struggle at all. But again, it means they have nothing to fall back on, if in case they do lose this next round. If in case the reset comes in for Ukraine, fnatic are going to be screwed. Because then we'll see 14-10 up off the back of the eco as well, unless fnatic force, which would be a risk. Although we've seen Swedish teams do it before. Throwback to Nuke last night.
Looks like they'll go for that short control again. Once more, it is Brolin and Golden getting that map control. Now, Ukraine are going to leave the bomb outside of Monster, and this is the kind of play with 2 players at B that doesn't show any presence. It's not like they're throwing flashbangs, they're not spamming smokes, they just want to play secretively. And hope that the rest of Team Ukraine can draw a rotation away from the B bomb site or maybe even into connector. If, of course, Brolin were to get into connector and close the door behind him, well, all of a sudden, it leaves Ukraine with a bit more map control in their pockets. Now, I wouldn't opt for them to push in solo. So they would want short, but Brolin's going to contest this by finding an opening kill. Simple's going to go challenge, as Simple does. And Brolin stops him. Able to find himself another kill. And more notably, the bomb. That, my friends, is the definition of a mistake.
Indeed it is, but will they pay the price or will they be able to pull it back? One kill has already been found onto the CT side, but a lot of presence here for fnatic. Orb flies in through, making it unretrievable now for Ukraine. Still slow for Ukraine and time running low as well. 30 seconds on the clock. They know they've got to force an issue and it won't work out. Brolin holds down one for him. Doesn't need to re-peek for the second. He knows it. He just plays passive behind the sign as Bondik looks to come out through the smoke. Brolin caught during the reload as Bondik finds a kill. But again, 10 seconds left. They need to go and they need to go fast. Kills coming in heavy. Bondik, 3 frags. But Lekro's still here and he might be able to stop the bomb plant down towards B. It will come through. He spams with a pistol, but he's going to get chased by Edward. Kill comes through regardless. And Bondik drops into the pit. Lekro pushing up as well, could jump on the bomb. He's upgraded to an AK, but Bondik, a massive round. We talked about his firepower, it certainly shows it. 13 rounds for Ukraine off the back of 4 kills, and they retake the bomb.
And a back-breaking win as well. Look at fnatic.
Wow. With
very little money left over. That is such a crucial round from Bondik. And you know what? Even on the CT side, he succeeds at the B bomb site. Even on the offense now, he does it yet again. Punctures his way forward. And now desperation sinking in here for the Swedes. fnatic on Brolin. Smoking a frag to go with it. Golden had a full belt of utility, and Zeus hits him with the wall bang. Oh, what a way to start this off. If they had any game plan using those grenades, it's been cut down. An embarrassing opening here versus fnatic. Markelov burning Lekro to a crisp, Simple catching JW. It's just down to the 2 Swedes and make that 1. Flusha nowhere to be found. Look at that dead CT, Hugo. Laugh at him. Ha. Sucker.
Well, this is undoable. We've seen Flusha do crazy things, but this seems a little off the charts as Ukraine 14 rounds seems to be the case before fnatic get, well, either the force, the eco back in, depending how they want to attempt this again. With it being only 5 rounds behind, they're in a position where they could realistically go for the eco and try and draw a full comeback, but I'm not too sure. 5-round comeback is difficult. I'd say like 2 to 3 is probably more favorable, and that's when you'd want to go for the eco here. Yeah, force. It makes sense. You know, the force in the previous round was the biggest issue either way for fnatic. That digs them deeper hole. And as a result, force till the game's over unless you can find something with these pistols, but it's so unlikely. Ukraine, this second half has been phenomenal for them. We've worked it out, Connor. It wasn't the fact they were bad at the T side, it was the fact that Wallace were so good at the CT side. They clearly have some tricks up their sleeve, and Bondik pulling these guys out of a rut. fnatic could have brought it back in their favor. It's now all but.
Because they try to get ahead of this commitment on the B site, fnatic actually have a nice little portion of map control. They've got Brolin yet again pushed into short water. They had JW clearing out connector stairs, and he still sits outside that door now. Go back to the wallbang of the last round. I mean, the reason Zeus tries to hit it is, of course, because Brolin has been getting aggressive on short. So because he knows the timing, he spams the wall, and sure enough, Brolin is decimated. Now, in this round, he does it yet again, but as the rest of his team try to push quickly, it's the smoke and frag that actually convince them back. It's the frag that takes Bondik to 58. Brolin having to delay that push at least a little longer, dodging the shots of Zeus regardless. But it's not as though they found a kill here. Just some early map control, most of which has been taken back. The T's opting to hit long A, so from one extremity to the other. This time, fnatic will be tested here on the site. JW first, finding Simple. Nice frag with the CZ. Markelov cleans him from the dice box. Zeus looking to lay down the law. He gets distracted by team damage. He pulls his head away. Brolin then drops Markelov 15 seconds on the clock, and fnatic are going to do this unless Bondik bails them out with, again, a multi-frag. He needs to go big. Spots the first 7 seconds. There you have it. fnatic with an A-site hold. They curb the aggression over towards that B site. Sure enough, Ukraine think they can aggress on A, and honestly, Zeus was in a fantastic spot. If he just gets onto Optimus Prime, if he pushes next to the truck, then he cuts off the players coming out of the dumpster. But I believe it was Edward that shot him in the back, drew his head away for just an instant, and it was in that very same second that fnatic find themselves across the kill feed, finding themselves another chance back into this game. Because sure, like you said, 5 rounds might be a stretch, but they've cut this down to 4, at least to secure OT. And Ukraine, well, they don't have that in their pocket. In fact, they've got their work set out for them.
Shows you how much the little details can change a game. We'll see if this has any effect in the long run. If UK come back in with a force, down to Fnatic's, well, bye. If Ukraine win this round, Fnatic's money is gone, so it's pretty important. Especially for Fnatic's side, if they want to keep themselves in this map, because Ukraine have put it close, but Fnatic have grabbed themselves a lifeline. JW pressure in the connector. Zeus is here. He's scared, but he goes for it anyway. Tagged up. A kill through. Bails out Marklov, who was tagged earlier in the round. Now Ukraine have the pick, but not for free. They have it at the cost of tags. All across the board. Miss Nade could have landed perfectly onto Brolin. Instead, Ukraine, they give up B control. Door shut. As he looks back towards the A site potentially. Ukraine may want to rotate up towards A, and if they do, there's no defense there. One player, only Flusher, although he's got the power of 4 men. Ukraine are going to hit though. 30 seconds left. They're going to make a play. Again, the tags are going to be crossing the entirety of this T team. So Flusher, he's only got weak targets to finish off.
He's going to line up 2, dropping the bomb, but Markelov yet again able to trade from long. Now, CT's not in sight, so they can't force this gunfight unless they boost over the wall. But that, of course, will not stop the plant unless, whoa, it crosses towards the truck. It will get in safety. It will go down. Still the 2 versus 2. Edward trying to wrap. Do they expect this? Lekro on display. He checks his backside. They've done it yet again. Fnatic on the A site, with another opportunity to keep this game rolling. Ukraine, sure enough, they found their footing. They found their push into the bomb site, but Fnatic, and most notably Lekro, 3 frags there to his name in this most crucial of rounds. 100 HP at the end as well, dodging shots, Hugo, dodging the pressure of that outcome, because now all of a sudden Fnatic can rebuy with ease. And Ukraine are going to have to put this all on the line. Their spree of victories, the reset versus Fnatic, it was great in the opening bout of this half, but man, things change quickly. This round is crucial. Could either secure overtime for Ukraine and keep their gun buys alive, or it's Fnatic to be within 1 and Ukraine to have to hold off. Or force, and no one likes a disadvantage.
I was going to say, if Fnatic find this round, it's a very big possibility. We could be seeing 30 rounds at the very least, because Ukraine might just go for the eco, depending on how this turns out, how much damage they get, whether they get a bomb plant or not. Because they've not got money, but they've got loss. So if they get 4 kills in a bomb plant, for sure they'll buy. But if it's a mow down, they'll probably just go for the safe eco. Allow this to go 14-14 and then go for an investment. So realistically, we may be able to see Fnatic pull this back to the very least at a guaranteed 30 rounds, which means they could either get 14 or a victory. Hell, overtime's a possibility. I
do love me some 14 all.
That's my favorite.
It is the best moment in Counter-Strike.
Every time I think 14 all, I think VP, Astralis, Train at the major.
E-League major, beautiful stuff. JW with a wall bang, down goes Simple, insult to injury. But still, Fnatic hold their own. Flusha as the smoke fades, goes aggressive, and Edward pops his noggin. JW still here on this A site, calling for rotations to come upwards, but look at this hit on B. It's going to be Bondik and Zeus trying to create space for the rotation, and sure enough, Bondik finds it. Now over on that bomb site is Golden up next. He too removed. Bondik doing work yet again. He cracks the site open. He comes in with impact. Zeus finding Brolin above, and it looks like Ukraine have done it, securing overtime at the very least and putting Fnatic's comeback in question.
And of course, it's Bondik with 2 kills, the man that's been stepping up every time Ukraine need him. He got that clutch earlier on. Now he's getting 2 kills, and Markelov will finish off JW on the exit as well. So no AWP saved. And Fnatic's money comes into question. Obviously, they buy. They're on the back of potentially losing this map, but they even call in a pause. Not seen the most of pauses this map, despite it being back and forth and very close, in and out, up and down. But Fnatic are going to be giving it their best shot because they've not got cash to play with. That being said, Connor, if you think back 3 rounds prior, they did this before. They won a round with not much to play with and kept themselves in this game temporarily. Can they do it permanently? Can they bring it to OT? Or will Ukraine take their map pick on overpass after a stunning T-side?
Money, money, money. And oh, how it falls short. Fnatic obviously taking this buy not only to figure out what exactly they want to do, but trying to figure out their options, really. 3.8 on Brolin. It's not even though they can go for like that Catalyst AWP or something. Not anyone has really enough bank. Do you gamble stack? Do you try to just play bomb sites? That's the difficulty, right? Like, you take an A site of overpass, where generally CTs want to push up aggressively for at least some early map control, at least over towards bathrooms. That's one thing. If you do that with pistols, you're really leaving yourself hindered versus the buy of Ukraine. If you play in with just armor pistols, then you have to sit on the bomb sites, and that's never so fun. Not on a map like Overpass, where some deep smoke grenades can block off Dumpster and Bank on A, can block off Heaven and Graffiti on B. There are smaller chokeholds that allow for CTs to rotate up and down, so sometimes relying on that rotation is not the best of ideas. But here's the buy. Brolin with an M4. Everybody else with pistol Kevlar. 2 frags, 2 smokes. And the response from Ukraine is to get aggressive here in connector. They will push forward into the M4 of Brolin. At least he finds that first contact and kill. And the players still inside of connector maintain the advantage. Fnatic, they're hot on the heels. Even if the T's commit to this B bomb site, they're going to be enveloped by Fnatic.
Dangerous stuff. And they know it. Markelov holding the back line. Brolin may have spotted the crosshair of Bondic, although he's holding the right side of the angle, so maybe not. They don't have a Molotov to get him out of position. JW has an HE, but he's stuck in the connector. I love this from Fnatic, just holding. They know where Ukraine are. They have them boxed into this position. And while Ukraine can certainly back off and try and get themselves out of here, they don't need to, because look at Zeus. Crawling round T-spawn. If he goes down the connector here, he can pincer onto the back line of Fnatic, because they have players down inside of said connector. Flushes there, open, back open. But Zeus doesn't go for it. He wraps up towards a playground. Simple finds the entry, and with that, the force from the push from behind. Flusher gets mowed down as everyone else does, but somehow Letgrow out of nowhere pulls up 2 kills. It's Zeus alone. And while he was lurking towards the A site earlier on, he's now able to come back into B where the bomb is dropped. And with 30 seconds left, he's got to make a heroic play, but it's not going to happen. Letgrow shuts him down in the connector as he exits. And Fnatic, for the second time late into this game, Connor, they pull it up. They take it with just pistols and a solo rifle and keep themselves in this map.
Now, Zeus is positioning back towards spawn. Had he not wrapped around through Fountain and gone towards the top of connector, could have instead positioned himself on the bottom of those hallways. And had he done that, then he himself could have been tasked with watching Squeaky Door, and that then could have afforded Ukraine a little bit more positioning towards the push. But it all comes down to timing. The players inside of the CT connector, right, from Fnatic, they force the gunfight on the doorway before he can help. That then pulls the attention of the players in short in 2 separate directions, because at that very same instance, Fnatic push from the bomb site into that short. They finally collapse down, right? From the beginning of the round, we had watched Fnatic set up a box around that offense. And it was really Zeus, I think, who had to find a solution to that. Again, could have watched the back of the doorway, but he had opts instead to go clear corners and make sure that they hadn't pushed up on that A site. I don't think he expected all of the Fnatic players to be that damn close. So Fnatic pull the trigger. And the shot goes through and through, sending a shiver down Ukraine's spine at this point, as they will have to figure out their purchase.
This is as close as can be and as close as expected. To think, Connor, we're only on the first map of a potential 3, and I think at this point a likely 3. Depending who takes this, though, if fnatic can upset on Team Ukraine's map pick, it's anyone's game. They could be able to close out on Mirage and map 2, but Mirage definitely not a map some of these players shy away from. However, we're back into this one. We're back into overpass. Unpause called. Buy-in through for both teams. It's looking good. Limitations on both sides, but nothing massive. No AWP. Utility isn't the best for Ukraine, and SMG on either team, but it certainly won't stop them from both having potential to take this round. Ukraine, 3 players down towards B fast. This time not the bomb there, because they've lost the bomb towards B twice now on short, so they don't want to do it again. And while they've won the round once with bondik going big, the previous they didn't. It's actually Boron to start off, but with him being spotted on short, they burst out long, and bondik finds the opener. Letgrow dead. They know they've got to watch out on short, but they don't know there's 2 players there. Lots of presence for fnatic that Ukraine have to be aware about, and 2 of them tagged up as well, so careful as they look to make a play into this B bomb site. Smoke down into the edge of the Molotov. fnatic still hold 2 players on short, and Ukraine none the wiser.
Of course, with bomb still back in connector, there's no commitment that had to be made. They've done a very good job of pulling the rotation downwards, but at the same time using Edward to go pry on long. Now he anticipates that someone from fnatic might push up here. And as he waits, and his teammates clear the halls, it will give time for fnatic to change up their defense. They opt to go 2 players outside Squeaky Door, boosting through the window. And they move, of course, Flusha back through bank. So fnatic feeling, though, there may be an A hit, and they would be right, so they think, when in reality it's a double back from Team Ukraine. They go through their spawn, and they look to re-aggress towards Monster, having given up this control initially just to come in a second time. And because of the time left on the clock, fnatic, they're thinking it has to be A, when in fact Markelov reveals the ruse. Brolin trying to pop the head of Markelov, taps away. He's down to 8 shots, so needs the reload. And of course, Ukraine, they need the plant. Simple gives cover, and things are looking tough here for fnatic. JW makes it look a little bit better, but now he's got a serious job ahead. Swapping to the M4 on a full bar of health. He has 3 targets to take, and it will start with Simple over here towards Graffiti. Tries to round out the door, and he hits a crucial headshot. With a flashbang, he could get closer. Markelov, 10 HP, pinned in bomb site. Edward to help on short, and there we have it. Edward kills him the moment he rounds it, and Ukraine finish things off at 16-13, the final score here on Overpass. There was questions, of course, made by both teams. Breaking economies, breaking hopes, and breaking down some serious executions. And yet, there we go. First map done and dusted, but there's still so much CS to play.
Crazy to think that fnatic kept themselves in that game for so long with those double force buy wins. You know, 2 times they are forced down to pistols, and they still managed to pick them up by dropping the bomb on short. Great work, but of course, as you say, Ukraine taking the victory. Either way, we're heading to map number 2. This is going to be interesting.